Picture this. It's Monday morning, 1999. You walk into your cubicle, sit down at your desk, and you can actually see the surface. No laptop, no wireless keyboard, no smartphone charging cable, just physical objects, each one doing exactly one job. A Rolodex that held phone numbers, a desk calendar you wrote on with a pen, a stapler that never needed software updates. And here's what nobody talks about. When you left that desk at 5 p.m., work stayed there. Your files, your messages, your tasks, they lived at the office. Not in your pocket, not in your bedroom, at the office. If you remember the satisfying funk of a 3-hole punch, the smell of fresh paper from the supply closet, or flipping through a physical Rolodex to find a client's number, this video is gonna hit different. We're exploring 15 things that sat on every office desk in 1999 and what we actually lost when they vanished. Item number 15, the desk phone with 20+ buttons. Picture this, 1999. Your desk phone isn't a sleek handset. It's a chunky rectangle with 20+ buttons, a digital display showing EXT2847, and a coiled cord that's perpetually tangled. This phone weighs about 3 pounds. It's beige or gray, always. You'd answer it with "John Smith speaking" or "Company name, this is Sarah." Caller ID was a luxury. Most of the time, you had no idea who was calling until you picked up. Voicemail lived on the phone itself, indicated by a blinking red light that caused mild anxiety. You'd press buttons to navigate. Press 1 to listen, press 7 to delete, press 9 to save. Delete meant delete. No cloud backup, no retrieval. The phone had features nobody understood. That conference button, used maybe twice a year. Transfer, terrifying. You'd probably disconnect the call. Hold, essential, but you'd panic every time. And that coiled cord, it became a tangled mess within days, forcing you to spin the entire handset like a helicopter blade to unwind it. But here's what made it special. When you left your desk at 5 p.m., you were unreachable. No cell phone, no forwarding to your pocket. If someone needed you, they'd leave a message. You'd check it when you got back. Work happened at work. Today, your phone number follows you everywhere. You're expected to answer on vacation, at dinner, in bed. We gained availability, we lost the permission to be unavailable. The desk phone wasn't just a device, it was a boundary. And boundaries, it turns out, were valuable. Item number 14, the physical in-out box, usually 2-tiered. Let's go back. Your desk has a wire mesh box, 2-tiered, stacked vertically. Top tier, in. Bottom tier, out. That was it. That was your entire workflow management system. Papers came in, you processed them. Papers went out. Simple, visible, finite. The inbox would fill up throughout the day. Memos from management, client contracts needing signatures, reports from other departments. You could see exactly how much work you had. It was literally a physical pile. When the inbox was empty, you were done. No infinite scroll of emails, no Slack messages arriving at 9 p.m., just a physical container with a physical limit. You'd process documents top to bottom, oldest to newest, sign, stamp, file, pass to outbox. Someone would come by, usually twice a day, and collect from your outbox, distribute to your inbox. This person was called mail distribution. They walked the entire office with a cart, twice a day, every day. Here's what we don't talk about. The in-out box was honest. You could see your workload. Your boss could see your workload. If someone piled 40 documents in your inbox on Friday afternoon, everyone knew that was unreasonable. The physical limitation created accountability. Today, your inbox is infinite. Email, Slack, Teams, texts, they never stop coming. There's no bottom, no empty box moment. The work is endless because the container is bottomless. We traded visible, finite workloads for invisible, infinite streams. And somewhere in that trade, we lost the concept of done. You're never done anymore. The box never empties. And that's by design, not by accident. Item number 13, the Rolodex. The Rolodex, a rotating wheel of business cards on your desk. You'd flip through alphabetically, click, 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 each card spinning past until you found the name you needed. Johnson, Sarah, click. Jones, Michael, click. Kennedy, Patricia, there she is. Every card was handwritten or had a business card paper-clipped to it. phone numbers, addresses, sometimes notes, hates surprises, call before 10 a.m., remembers birthdays. Your Rolodex was your network made physical. The more cards you had, the more connected you were. A full Rolodex meant you were important, established, networked. You'd update it manually. New client, add a card. Phone number changed, cross out, write new one. Person left the company, remove the card entirely. This took effort, which meant your Rolodex only contained people who mattered. No LinkedIn connection spam, no 847 Facebook friends you don't remember meeting, just real contacts, real relationships. When you left a job, your Rolodex went with you, usually. Employers argued it was company property, you argued it was your network. This tension revealed the truth. Your Rolodex had value, real, tangible value. Here's the irony. Today, we have contacts in the cloud, thousands of them, synced across devices, backed up forever. But ask yourself, how many phone numbers do you actually know? How many could you dial if your phone died? 0? Maybe 2? We traded curated networks for accumulated databases, quality for quantity, intentional relationships for algorithmic suggestions. Your Rolodex was limited, so you protected those slots. Today, your contacts are unlimited, so they're worthless. Everyone is one click away, which means no one is truly connected. The Rolodex wasn't just an address book, it was a relationship filter. And filters, it turns out, created value. Item number 13, the desk calendar, day planner or month at a glance. Your desk has a calendar, not an app, a physical object, either a spiral-bound day planner or a single-sheet month at a glance under a clear plastic desk mat. You'd write appointments in pen, cross things out, scribble notes in margins. The calendar got messy. That messiness was your life. Day planners were personal. Some people color-coded, blue for meetings, red for deadlines, green for personal. Some people used multiple planners, one for work, one for home. The level of organization varied wildly, but everyone had a system, your system, not Microsoft Outlook system, yours. You'd flip pages. What's my Tuesday look like? Flip. When's that presentation? Flip back 2 weeks. Did I already schedule the client call? Check last Friday. The physicality forced you to engage with time differently. You couldn't just search dentist appointment, you had to remember approximately when, then flip to that week, then scan. This seemed inefficient, and it was, but inefficiency had a side effect, awareness. When you physically wrote meeting with Johnson 2 p.m., you remembered it better. The act of writing created memory. Studies show handwritten notes create 40% better retention than typed notes. Your calendar wasn't just storing information, it was training your brain. Here's what we lost: ownership of our schedules. Today, your calendar is in the cloud, synced, shared. Your boss can see your availability. Colleagues can book time without asking. The calendar auto-adjusts for time zones, daylight saving, conflicts. It's efficient, but it's also no longer yours. In 1999, if someone wanted a meeting, they had to ask, "Are you free Tuesday at 2?" You'd check your calendar, your physical, private calendar, and decide. Today, they just click invite and you're expected to accept. We traded control for coordination. And control, it turns out, was the point. Your time was your calendar. Now your calendar is everyone's access point to you.
Item number 11. Post-it notes. Everywhere. Post-it notes. Everywhere. Stuck to your computer monitor, your phone, your desk lamp, your filing cabinet, your coffee mug. Yellow squares covered every surface, each one a reminder, a thought, a task, a phone number someone gave you while you were on another call. The beauty of Post-it notes was their temporality. They were meant to be temporary. You'd write, "Call Henderson re-proposal," and stick it on your monitor. When you called Henderson, you'd crumple the note and toss it. Task done. Visual confirmation. But here's what actually happened. Post-its accumulated. You'd have 15 notes on your monitor border, creating a yellow frame. Some were urgent, some were from 3 weeks ago, some you couldn't remember writing. The physical clutter reflected mental clutter. You could see your chaos. People develop systems, some color-coded, yellow for tasks, pink for urgent, blue for information. Some numbered them by priority, some arranged them in rows, top row urgent, bottom row eventually. Everyone had a method. The methods rarely worked. Post-its still multiplied. The sound of writing on a Post-it note was distinct. the scratch of ballpoint pen on that semi-sticky paper, the gentle pull as you peeled it off the pad, that small ft sound, the satisfaction of crumpling one and basketball shooting it into the trash can. Today, digital notes, Evernote, OneNote, Apple Notes, infinite, searchable, synced. You never lose them, which means you never finish them. They accumulate in digital piles you never see, out of sight, never completed. Post-its forced you to deal with tasks because they were physically in your face. Digital notes let you pretend they don't exist. We traded visible chaos for hidden chaos, and visible chaos at least you could manage. If you're already feeling that office nostalgia, that weird ache for beige cubicles and the smell of toner, hit that subscribe button right now, because we're about to dive into the items that defined 1999 office culture in ways that'll make you question whether paperless was actually progress. And trust me, number 7 is going to hurt. The item that literally trained us to accept surveillance. You're not ready. Let's keep going. Item number 10, the 3-hole punch. The 3-hole punch, heavy, metal, usually red or black, sitting on your desk or the communal table near the copier. You'd line up your papers, pull the lever, and chunk, chunk, chunk. 3 perfect holes. The resistance of punching through 20 sheets at once. The small circular paper confetti collecting in the bottom tray that nobody ever emptied until it overflowed. This device had one job: make papers fit in 3-ring binders. That was it. Single purpose, no software, no updates, no subscription. You bought it once, maybe $15 at Office Depot, and it lasted 20 years. But the 3-hole punch represented something bigger: permanence. You punched holes in documents you intended to keep. Client contracts, procedure manuals, training materials, project plans. If it went in a binder, it mattered. The act of hole punching was a commitment. This document is important enough to organize, file, and preserve. Binders lined office shelves, organized by project, client, or year, labeled with label makers, another desk item we'll get to. Your binders were your institutional knowledge. When you needed information, you walked to the shelf, pulled the binder, flipped to the section. Physical, tactile, certain. Here's what's starkly funny. You owned that information. It was in your office, in your binder, under your control. Today, everything's in the cloud. SharePoint, Google Drive, OneDrive. You can access it anywhere, sure, but you don't own it. The company does. And if you leave or get fired, that access vanishes instantly. Your login disabled, your knowledge gone. The 3-hole punch wasn't just a tool. It was a claim of ownership. We punched holes in papers to keep them, to control them, to make them ours. Today, we rent access to documents we'll never truly own. That chunk sound, that was the sound of sovereignty. Item number 9, the desk drawer full of office supplies. Open your desk drawer. In 1999, it's an office supply wonderland. Pens, black, blue, red, some that work, some dried out, but you keep them anyway. Highlighters in 4 colors, whiteout, liquid paper. Paper clips, both regular and jumbo. Binder clips in 3 sizes. Staples, rubber bands from the mail. Scotch tape dispenser, a ruler. Scissors that went missing for 2 weeks. Post-it notes backup supply. A calculator that needs new batteries. This drawer was your arsenal. Everything you needed to do your job was in arm's reach. No asking IT for access, no submitting a ticket, no waiting for approval. You had tools, physical tools. You grabbed a pen, you wrote. You needed to attach papers, you stapled. Immediate, tactile, yours. People guarded their supplies. That special pen you liked, you'd hide it when leaving your desk. Good scissors were rare. Someone always borrowed them permanently. Tape dispensers walked away. Office supply theft was rampant, but accepted. Borrowing from the supply closet was considered a perk, not a crime. The supply closet itself was sacred space. Rows of boxes containing fresh pads of paper, unopened pens, untouched staplers. The smell was distinct. Paper, cardboard, that chemical scent of new office supplies. Going to the supply closet felt like shopping, except everything was free. You'd grab extras just in case and hoard them in your desk drawer. Today, digital tools, cloud-based everything, nothing physical to grab. You can't hoard Photoshop licenses. You can't hide your favorite Slack workspace. Everything requires login credentials, permissions, access rights.
We traded tangible tools for licensed access, ownership for subscription. And here's the kicker. In 1999, if they fired you, you could steal the stapler on your way out. Today, they just revoke your credentials. You leave with nothing, not even revenge. Item number 8, printed email. Yes, really. Email is relatively new in most offices, only adopted company-wide in the past 2 to 3 years. People still don't fully trust it, so they print it. You'd receive an email, important email, from a client, from management, from legal, and you'd click print. The printer would hum, whir, and produce a physical copy. You'd read it, highlight important parts, write notes in the margins, file it in a folder, maybe 3-hole punch it for a binder. This seems insane now. Why print a digital message? But here's the thinking. Email could disappear, servers could crash, files could corrupt. But paper? Paper was permanent. If you printed it, you had proof, physical evidence, a backup that couldn't be deleted by IT, hackers, or your own mistake. People would print email chains, entire conversations, 10 emails back and forth about a project, printed, stapled together, and filed. The printer by your desk ran constantly. Paper stacks grew, filing cabinets filled. And here's what's wild. They were right to worry. Email in 1999 wasn't reliable. Servers did crash, messages did disappear, attachments wouldn't open. Printed email was insurance against digital failure. Today, email is so reliable we never print it, but we've traded paper trails for digital fog. Every message exists somewhere, theoretically, forever, searchable, retrievable, except when they're not, when accounts get deleted, when companies shut down their email servers, when Microsoft migrates your data and something goes missing. Printed email was paranoid, but paranoia, it turns out, was justified. We stopped printing because we started trusting corporations to preserve our communications forever. That trust, in hindsight, seems naive.
Item number 7, the CRT monitor. Giant, beige, humming. The CRT monitor. Cathode ray tube. This thing dominated your desk. 16 inches if you were lucky, 14 if you weren't. Beige, always beige, or that off-white that aged into beige. Depth, about 18 inches from screen to back. It stuck out halfway across your desk. Turn it on, a faint whine as it powered up. The electromagnetic hum that became background noise. You'd hear it if the office went silent. Some people claimed it gave them headaches. They were probably right. This thing was blasting electrons at your face 8 hours a day. The screen had a slight curve. Glare was a problem. Offices had those anti-glare screens you'd clip onto the front, making everything slightly darker but safer. The screen would get dusty. You'd wipe it with Windex and paper towels, leaving streaks. Resolution was 800 by 600, maybe 1024 by 768 if you had a newer model. Colors were oversaturated. Everything looked slightly fuzzy. But here's what the CRT represented: surveillance infrastructure. Not the monitor itself, the computer it was attached to. In 1999, workplace computer monitoring was just becoming standard. Companies were installing software to track what you did, websites visited, emails sent, time spent idle. The CRT was the window through which your boss could watch you. Employees didn't realize this at first. The computer seemed like a tool for you, but it was also a tool for watching you. Every click tracked, every minute logged, the beginning of workplace surveillance culture. Today, it's worse. Your laptop has a camera. Your phone tracks your location. Slack shows active away status. Microsoft Teams has productivity scores. But it all started here, with the CRT and the software running behind it. We traded privacy for convenience. We accepted monitoring because the tools seemed helpful. The CRT wasn't just a display. It was the eye through which we were first watched, and we invited it onto our desks voluntarily. That hum you heard? That was the sound of freedom ending. Item number 6, the filing cabinet. 4 drawers, metal, heavy, usually gray, sometimes beige or putty colored. Each drawer stuffed with manila folders and hanging file frames, alphabetized, organized by client, project, or date. This cabinet held everything important: contracts, invoices, reports, correspondence, records. You'd pull open a drawer, that metallic screech of the slider, the slight resistance, and flip through folders. Tab, tab, tab. Find the right one.
pull it out, close drawer with a satisfying clang. The weight of the drawer closing felt conclusive, secure. The filing cabinet was secure. It locked. You had a key. Only you could access these files, your client information, your project details, your work, locked in metal drawers that required physical access to open. If someone wanted your files, they had to break in, pick the lock, or get your key. Compare that to today. Your files are in SharePoint. IT has access, your boss has access, your company's security team has access, Microsoft has access, potentially hackers have access. The cloud means your files exist on servers you'll never see, in locations you don't know, controlled by people you've never met. But here's the philosophical point. The filing cabinet was private by default. Cloud storage is shared by default. In 1999, you had to grant access. Today, you have to restrict it. The assumption flipped from "this is mine unless I share it" to "this is everyone's unless I protect it." The filing cabinet wasn't just storage, it was a vault. We traded vaults for shared drives, security for accessibility, privacy for convenience, and we acted like that was progress. Top 5. This is where it gets real. These aren't just desk items anymore. They're symbols of what we lost when offices went digital. The boundaries, the focus, the ownership. Quick question for the comments. How many of these items did you have on your desk in 1999? I'm counting at least 12 for myself. Let me know below, and if you never worked in an office in 1999, ask your parents. They'll remember every single one. Let's finish this. Number 5 is going to make you angry. Item number 5, the desk calculator. The desk calculator, not the cheap pocket kind, the real one, Casio or Texas Instruments, 10 keypad, plus, minus, multiply, divide, percentage button nobody understood, memory buttons, M+, M-, MR, MC, that were theoretically useful, display showing 8 digits, maybe 10 if you were fancy. This calculator cost $30 to $50. It sat on your desk permanently. Why? You used it constantly, calculating budgets, checking invoices, running projections, adding columns of numbers. Your computer had a calculator app, sure, but it was 3 clicks away and slower. The desk calculator was instant. Grab it, punch numbers, get answer, put it down. Physical, tactile, fast. The sound of using it was satisfying. The click of the keys, the slight resistance, the mechanical precision. Some models printed on paper tape. You'd get a physical record of your calculations, numbers printed in purple or black ink. You could tear off the tape and attach it to reports as proof of your work. Here's what the desk calculator represented. Independence. You didn't need software, didn't need IT support, didn't need an internet connection, didn't need permission or access or a license. You bought a calculator, you could calculate forever. No subscription, no updates, no cloud sync. It worked the day you bought it, and it would work 20 years later if you kept batteries in it. Today, Excel, Google Sheets, cloud-based calculation, infinite capabilities, collaborative, shareable, but also dependent. If Excel crashes, you can't calculate. If your internet drops, you can't access your spreadsheet. If Microsoft decides to change the formula syntax, your old sheets break. We traded independence for integration, simplicity for sophistication, reliability for features. The desk calculator was dumb, but dumb meant trustworthy. It did one thing perfectly forever, and that, it turns out, was valuable. Single-purpose tools are extinct. We killed them and called it progress. Item number 4, the label maker. The label maker, Dymo, Brother P-Touch, a plastic device that embossed text onto colored tape. You'd turn a dial to select each letter. Click, click, click. Squeeze the trigger to emboss it. Move to next letter. Spelling errors meant starting over. When finished, you'd cut the tape and peel the backing. The tape was satisfying. Plastic, slightly raised letters you could feel with your finger. Permanent, waterproof. Stick it on file folders, binders, cabinet drawers, storage boxes. Client files, 1999. Accounts payable. Do not discard. The labels lasted years without fading or peeling. People loved label makers. They labeled everything. Desk drawers, pens, paper clips, personal, shelves, equipment, coffee mugs, territory marking disguised as organization. Your label on something meant it was yours. The label maker was a property claim device. Electronic label makers arrived in the late 90s, Brother P touch machines with QWERTY keyboards, LCD displays, various fonts. These were luxury items, $50 to $80. You'd type your label, preview it, print on shiny plastic tape. Magic. Here's why label makers mattered. They represented permanence. You labeled things you expected to keep, file systems that would exist for years, equipment that wouldn't be replaced next quarter, projects that would last. The act of labeling was a commitment to stability. Today, nothing is permanent. Files are renamed constantly, cloud folders reorganized, projects canceled, equipment leased, not owned. Nothing stays put long enough to deserve a label. The label maker assumed the future would resemble the present, that your filing system today would work tomorrow. That assumption was accurate in 1999. It's absurd in 2025. We don't label anymore because nothing is worth labeling. Everything is temporary. Everything is rented. Everything is subject to change. The label maker died because permanence died, and we call that progress. Item number 3, the physical inbox tray with actual deadlines. We mentioned the in-out box earlier, but let's talk about what it actually meant. The physical inbox tray on your desk wasn't just a container, it was a forcing function for time management. Papers in the in tray had deadlines, real ones, a contract needing signature by Friday, a report due Thursday, a proposal to review before the Monday meeting. These weren't digital reminders you could snooze, they were physical objects, in your space, in your way. You couldn't ignore them because they were literally between you and your keyboard. People processed their inbox at specific times, 9 a.m., 2 p.m., 4:30 p.m. You'd pull out the top document, deal with it, move to the next, top to bottom, oldest to newest, first in, first out. The system was simple because it was physical. Gravity sorted your work. You couldn't drag and drop to rearrange priority. The stack was the stack. When you finished a document, you felt accomplishment. Physical removal from in tray, physical placement in out tray. Your in tray got shorter, visibly. By Friday afternoon, if you'd worked hard, the tray was empty, actually empty. You could see the bottom. By Friday afternoon, if you'd worked hard, the tray was empty, actually empty. You could see the bottom. Compare that to today. Your digital inbox is infinite. Email never stops. Slack messages pile up. Teams notifications multiply. You finish 10 tasks and 15 more appear. There's no bottom, no empty tray, no moment of completion. We traded finite workloads for infinite streams, visible progress for invisible churn. And here's the dark part. This wasn't an accident. Infinite work means infinite productivity. Empty inbox meant you might leave at 5 p.m. Can't have that. The physical inbox had limits. The system had limits. Those limits protected workers. We traded protection for flexibility, and flexibility, it turns out, meant working forever.
Item number 2, the company directory, a physical book, usually 3-ring binder, updated quarterly or annually. Every employee listed alphabetically. Name, department, extension number, sometimes email address in later years. You'd flip through it to find people. Need to call someone in accounting? Look up accounting section, scan names, find extension, dial. Need to know who handles vendor payments? Check directory under departments. The directory was your map to the organization. Who worked where, who did what, how to reach them. Updating the directory was a massive undertaking. Someone in HR would compile changes, new hires, departures, transfers, promotions, print new pages, distribute to every employee. You'd remove old pages from your binder, insert new ones. This happened quarterly. By the 3rd month, the directory was already outdated. Someone listed as sales associate was now regional manager. Someone on page 47 had quit. New hires weren't in it yet. This inefficiency was frustrating, but it created something valuable. You learned the organization. Flipping through the directory repeatedly, you'd start to recognize names, departments, patterns. You'd remember, oh right, Johnson moved to the Portland office. You'd build mental models of company structure. Today, corporate directory software, searchable, real-time updates, efficient, but also you never learn the organization. You search expense reports and the system tells you who to contact. You don't know where they sit in the hierarchy. You don't know if they're new or established. You don't build relationships, you execute transactions. The physical directory forced you to engage with your company as an organization of humans. Digital directories let you treat it as a search engine. We traded organizational knowledge for algorithmic efficiency, connection for transaction, and we called it modernization. Item number 1, the desk itself with actual boundaries. The desk. Let's talk about what it actually represented in 1999. Your desk was your workspace. When you sat at it, you worked. When you left it, you stopped working. The desk created a physical boundary between work and life that was respected, enforced, real. At 5 p.m., you'd stand up from your desk, lock your filing cabinet, cover your typewriter or turn off your computer, leave, walk out of the office, and you were done. Work stayed at the desk. Your files stayed at the desk. Your phone messages stayed at the desk. You'd deal with them tomorrow, when you came back, to your desk. This seems obvious, but it was actually a form of freedom that no longer exists. Your boss couldn't call your desk phone at 8 p.m. because you weren't there. Clients couldn't email you on Saturday because you weren't checking. Emergencies happened, sure, but they were actual emergencies, not just, I have a quick question. The desk was a location. Work was a place you went. Today, work is a state of being. You work on your laptop at home, on your phone at dinner, in bed before sleep. Work has no location anymore, which means it has no boundaries. You're always at work because work is wherever you are. And here's the really dark part. We did this to ourselves. We wanted laptops for flexibility. We wanted smartphones for convenience. We wanted remote work for freedom. And companies gave us all that, knowing it would dissolve the boundaries that protected us. The desk in 1999 represented something we've lost, the right to leave, to be off, to be unreachable, to have a life that exists separately from work. We traded that desk, that physical boundary, that spatial separation for work-life integration, which is a corporate euphemism for you never stop working. The desk wasn't just furniture, it was a fortress, a boundary, a declaration that work exists here and life exists elsewhere. We tore down that fortress and called it progress. So there you have it, 15 things that sat on every office desk in 1999. Rolodexes and desk phones, filing cabinets and label makers, physical inboxes and 3-hole punches, the tools of the pre-digital office. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say. The digital office didn't make work better, it made work inescapable. In 1999, work was hard, inefficient, physical. You had to walk to the filing cabinet, flip through the Rolodex, wait for the 3-hole punch, use whiteout when you made a mistake. It was slower, more difficult, more frustrating, but it was contained. Your work existed in a physical place. When you left that place, work stayed there. Your boss couldn't email you at midnight, clients couldn't Slack you on Sunday, your calendar couldn't be invaded by automated meeting invites. You had boundaries because work had location. Today, we have efficiency. We can access files from anywhere, communicate instantly, collaborate in real time across continents. We've eliminated friction, removed barriers, optimized workflows, and in that optimization, we've eliminated the concept of off. Your laptop never leaves your bag, your phone never leaves your pocket, your email syncs 24/7, your Slack status shows active or away, binary, tracked, judged. You're always available, which means you're always working, which means you're never free. We traded desks for devices, locations for states of being, boundaries for integration, and we called it progress. We called it innovation. We called it the future of work. But the 1999 office, with its beige cubicles, humming CRT monitors, overflowing filing cabinets, and physical inbox trays, had something our Slack, Teams, and Zoom offices don't: limits. The workday ended. The weekend existed. Vacation meant unreachable. You can't go back to 1999. Rolodexes and CRTs aren't coming back. Physical filing cabinets are extinct. The desk phone is dead. But maybe, just maybe, we can remember what they represented. Boundaries, limits, the permission to be unavailable, the right to leave work at work. Because the 1999 office wasn't perfect, but it was contained.
And containment, it turns out, was the whole point. Which item from this list do you miss most, or are you glad they're all gone? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you survived the beige cubicle era, subscribe to Before Wi-Fi for more uncomfortable truths about the tech we left behind. Thanks for watching.